Welcome to today's session. And today I'm going to talk about something which is very closely associated with any kind of spirituality, and that is meditation. Because no matter whatever form of spirituality we may follow, there is always an emphasis on this practice, which is called the practice of meditation. So I'm just okay, opening my phone. I taken a few notes. So I think before we talk about what is meditation, it is good to talk about what meditation is not. Because if we know what it is not, then we can come closer to what it is. Because actually speaking, it's very difficult to define meditation. And in fact, that's also the reason that I do not use the word meditation in most of my classes. I just call it a sitting practice. In fact, in the tradition of Zen, they just call it sitting. They don't call it meditation or anything, because the more you try to attach a label to something like, oh, it's meditation, then a lot of connotation comes to that label. Like if you have the word God, so many connotations. If you have the word spirituality, again, so many connotations. So, and eventually the goal of meditation, if there is a goal, is to get free of all these concepts and ideas of the mind that we get entangled and stuck with. So when we call it meditation, then we have heard so many things about what meditation is. If you Google, you'll get so many searches on meditation and different kinds of meditation and all of that. So let's start with talking about what meditation is not. Okay, so the first thing, I think most people have this assumption that meditation means, sitting quietly, um, and stopping the mind and no thoughts. Okay, so that's the most common assumption people have about meditation, that I must sit quiet and the mind must stop. And then if the mind stops, then that's meditation. Well, first and foremost, let me say meditation is not something that one does. Now, which means it is not about you doing something. Hmm? Now, whether it is you stopping the mind, no, that's not meditation. And in any case, you can't stop the mind, no matter how hard you try. So that's one. The second is, it's not trying to create a certain kind of an experience, like, oh, I want to experience some blue light, or I have to experience some kind of a divine experience, a mystical experience, some kind of a blissful state. So basically, meditation is not anticipation of some experience that can happen, or you're not hoping to have an experience. That's what I'm trying to say, actually. So it's not stopping the mind, it is not stopping the thoughts. Okay, that's not meditation. Meditation is not wanting a certain kind of an experience, a certain vision, a certain movement of energy, or a certain blissful experience. No, that all of that is not meditation. Meditation is also not concentration. Most generally, when people start the practice of meditation, and especially someone who is beginning the practice of meditation, then meditation is, most people say, watch your breath. Now that's, so focus on your breath, concentrate on your breath. Now that's a great starting point. I would recommend that to anybody who's beginning his practice or journey in meditation, that the easiest thing to begin with is to just watch your breath. In fact, those of you who have done Vipassana meditation, which is for 10 days of silence. The first thing they do is make you watch the breath. I think it's called anapana, something like that. I did my vipassana many, many years back. So the usefulness of that is, so whether it is watching the breath, whether it is doing some kind of a chanting, it's basically you're in a way training the mind, which is jumping around everywhere, and especially if it's an absolutely untamed, untrained mind, you're giving the mind something to do. Like, I'm reminded of this anecdote I used to mm, share it when I was teaching at the Yoga Institute, that there was once a man and he was going, passing by a jungle, and then he just decided to take some rest under a tree. And then he had his lunch or whatever, his meal, and decided to take rest under a tree. And then, as he was taking some rest, a monkey jumped up on him and woke him up. And uh, he got, because he was sleeping, he said, like, what is it? And then this was a talking monkey. Okay, so because I'm making the story, I can make the monkey do whatever I want. So, so this monkey says, look, I am a very intelligent monkey. You please take me home. Hmm? And I'll do whatever you ask of me. So this man says, look, you may be an intelligent monkey, you may be a talking monkey, but I really don't need a monkey, and I'm very self-sufficient. I can do my things. So he said, no, so the monkey was very, very persistent. So please take me home. I'll do whatever you ask. I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll do all the things that you want. So, so this monkey said, so this man says, okay, fine, I'll take you home, and tells the monkey. But the monkey says, look, I have one condition, that you must always give me some work to do. If you don't give me work to do, then I will eat you up. Hmm. So my story, I can make the monkey do whatever I want. So he says, this is the condition. So the man thinks for a while. He says that I've always got some work or the other, so I have really nothing to worry about. Yeah, I'll give you some work to do. And so he takes the monkey along and he takes him home. And then um, he makes him do the cooking. He does the cleaning of the house. The monkey is doing the cleaning of the house. And then he goes and buys groceries. Very intelligent monkey. He can buy stuff. So he's taking charge of the whole house. Now the afternoon, the monkey has cooked a nice meal, and the man has had the meal, and now he is in the habit of taking a siesta, a nap. So now, after the meal, this man is wanting to take a nap, and then he's about to doze off, and then suddenly the monkey comes and he says, "Look, we had a deal, we had an agreement that you must give me some work to do. If you don't give me work to do, then I'm going to eat you up." So he said, take it easy. You've been working all throughout the day. It's just afternoon time. Just take a small nap. Just relax, and then I'll give you some work in the day. Saying, no, no, no. A deal is a deal. An agreement is an agreement. A promise is a promise. Give me work, or else I will eat you up. So now this man is really concerned. What do I do? So he sees at the corner of his room there's a ladder kept, and so he tells the monkey, go climb up the ladder. So the monkey climbs up the ladder. He said, now what? He said, now climb down the ladder. And the monkey climbs down the ladder. So now, yeah, just do that. You climb up the ladder and climb down the ladder. That's your work. So that's what the monkey does. He's climbing up the ladder, climbing down the ladder, and this man goes to sleep peacefully. So we all have a monkey. And the name of a monkey, by now, I'm assuming most of you have guessed, is a mind, the monkey mind. It's jumping around here, there, doing all, thinking all kinds of things. It's There's no end to, to its thinking process. All kinds of things about the past, about the future. It's all like entangled noodles. There's no coherence in this monkey mind of ours. So then, especially when you're a beginner, then this monkey mind needs something to do. Really speaking, meditation is the art of doing nothing actually. But if I say that do nothing, you will not know how to do nothing. How does one do nothing? Because that's an oxymoron. So what you do is that you have to give this monkey mind something to do. So the easiest thing when you're beginning is you can say, okay, so focus on the breath. The ladder is the inhalation going up and the exhalation. So if you don't have anything to do, let's say, you're sitting at the airport, you're waiting for a flight. Maybe you are traveling by bus. Maybe you're, whatever, waiting at the doctor's place for an appointment. Now, what would you generally be doing? You'll be most likely on your favorite device, the love of your life, which is the cell phone, right? So you'll be busy checking some social media, browsing, doing something like that or the other. Or your mind would be just chattering, thinking. So then just the best practice is to watch the breath. Okay, now I'm not really doing anything. I'm waiting for a flight. I'm waiting for my doctor's appointment, or I'm traveling by car or by bus. I don't really need to do anything in this moment. Whatever I'm doing is a compulsive habit of doing, whether it's checking the phone or whether it's compulsively mental chatter. It's compulsive. So let me just use this time to just uh, train my attention, so to speak. And what do you do? The easiest thing is to watch the breath coming in, going out, coming in, going out. So it's a good practice. One could say you're focusing on the breath, you're concentrating on the breath, but that's not really meditation. But it is a good starting point to focus on the breath. That's a very good starting point. But having said that, that's not really what meditation is. Meditation is not concentration on the breath. Meditation is not concentrating on the third eye. Meditation is not concentrating on the solar plexus or on any particular thing. You're not concentrating on any particular thing. Okay, so these are the things that meditation is not. Meditation is not trying to stop your thoughts. Meditation is not trying to cultivate a certain kind of an experience, a blissful experience, a visual experience, or any kind of experience. Meditation is not concentrating on a particular thing, even though concentration can be a good starting point to train the monkey mind, but then that's not really what meditation is. Meditation is also not something that you do with the hope of achieving something in the future. There's a lot of people undertake the practice of meditation thinking that, I am now meditating and I am, what do I say? Hopefully, through meditation, I will become more aware. I will achieve enlightenment. I will get a spiritual awakening. Um, so some kind of a imagined goal we have created. It's like when you go to engineering college, you pursue your studies 3 years or 4 years, whatever is the duration of the course. You give your exams with the goal of eventually becoming an engineer. Like in my case, I can give an example of being a chartered accountant. You study hard, you give exams, and then hopefully, if you pass, you become a chartered accountant. And then, so meditation is not similar. Like, okay, I'm going to meditate 2 hours every day for 5 days a week or 6 days a week, and for so many years, in the hope that then maybe 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line or whatever, I'm going to get enlightened, I'll get moksha, I'll get nirvana. So if you're doing meditation with some kind of a future aspiration or a future goal, then that's also not meditation. So these are the four things that what meditation is not. uh, Not seeking an experience of a certain kind, not having a future aspiration about the practice of meditation, not concentrating on something. It's not the intent of switching off your thoughts. All of this is not meditation. So you may be doing various activities like prayers, chanting, watching the breath, pranayama. All these are helpful activities. And yet, meditation is something. Okay, now let's come to the other part then. What is meditation? Now, this is really becomes really difficult to describe, because how do you describe uh, doing nothing? How do you how do you describe that? Meditation is really doing nothing. So, okay, so let's say, so first and foremost, meditation is not something that one does, it happens. Now, the best example that I can give you of meditation is not something that one does, it happens, is now if you look at your breath. Now, if I were to ask you, are you breathing? Then most people, generally speaking, will say, yes, I'm breathing. But then when you start observing your breath, you realize, hey, I'm not breathing, the breath is happening. And that can apply to almost all your five senses, almost all your five senses. If you notice, the taste happens by itself. It's not when you're using language, you will say, I am tasting. But no, the taste happens by itself. As soon as you put a gulab jamun in your mouth, you don't decide, oh, now I will taste the gulab jamun. No, the gulab jamun goes in your mouth and the taste, whatever is of the taste of the gulab jamun, the sweetness, and it just happens. Similarly, if your eyes are open, you don't choose that I will see or not. The sight happens. If there is a sound happening, then the listening happens by itself. You don't say I will listen or not, or same for the smell. So basically, this whole experience of life, breath, five senses, sensations in the body, it's a happening. It's not something you're doing, and that should give you an insight into the nature of meditation. It is not a person who does a meditation or does something, it is the realization of life happening. Who is doing the life? One can't say, but it's happening. So that's really the realization that comes out of meditation, that life is happening. There's no doer of the life. And then coming to our thoughts. So this is the big one. So what really happens is, when most of the time mm, we are living a world in the world of our thoughts. Mm. And whenever we are living in the world of our thoughts, we are thinking that we are a person who's doing something. This is the nature of the mind, that it creates thoughts, the thoughts creates the thinker, the person, and then the person believes that he's doing all these actions. And then the thinker has also got a story, a story of the past and a story of the what's going to happen in the future. So most of the time, almost 99% of the time, we are living in identified with our thinking process. Hence, because our attention is consumed with our thinking process, we are unable to realize that life is happening by itself. Why are we unable to realize? Because the thoughts are creating a what do you say, an illusion of a person, and the thoughts is creating an illusion of a doer. A thoughts is creating of an illusion of an individual with the past. Thoughts is creating an illusion of an individual with the future. This is the illusion that the thoughts create. This is, I don't know how many of you seen the matrix. This is what the matrix of the thoughts is. So meditation is really breaking free from the matrix of mind, which is identification with thoughts. So how does one disengage or disidentify with thoughts, which is 99% of the time our life is lived actually in the mind, in our thoughts. If you ask 8 billion human beings where they are living, then they're not really living in this world. Each 8 billion of human beings have created a private universe in their mind, and they have created one character that is called me, and whatever name you have, and you are living as a story in the creation of your mind. There is never a time that you are really simply living as life itself. I'm like very cautious about using words because I don't know how many will really get. In a way, there's rarely a time when you're not identified with thoughts and the stories that the thought is creating, past, future, whatever, your to-do list and life situations and whatever else. So basically, it is realizing that once this disidentification with the mind happens, then you realize that, hey, there is no person who needs to do anything. And even if nothing is being done by a person called me, yet life is happening by itself. This is the realization that meditation creates. Which means if you're just sitting, eyes closed, doing nothing, life is happening by itself. The breath is happening by itself. The sounds are coming and happening by itself. The body sensations are happening by itself. One could even say the thoughts are happening by themselves because there's no person who's really thinking these thoughts. These thoughts are like a non-stop radio going on by themselves. Only the radio creates an illusion that there is someone who is thinking these thoughts, but these thoughts are just going on morning to night. So meditation creates this realization that there is no person who is doing anything. Life is happening by itself. So this life is happening to whom? It's it's not happening to any person. Life is just happening. It's almost like there's just complete emptiness, and in this emptiness, life is happening. This mm, sounds are happening, the sight is happening, the sensations are happening, the smell is happening, the feelings and emotions are happening, the thoughts are happening. It's almost like on the empty canvas of life, life is playing itself. I don't know. There is no person out there to whom it is happening. It's just happening. This is the realization that meditation creates. So when we are so-called meditating, because which actually is also oxymoron, because meditation happens, so how can, now I'm constrained because of language and I have to say when we are meditating, but there is no person who's meditating. The process of meditation happens because the process of life happens. Realizing that life is happening and just being aware of it is the process of meditation. There's no one who does meditation. So then the practice becomes, how does one really do nothing? And in that doing nothing, the realization happens that everything is happening. No one is doing it, and yet everything is happening. That's the uh, so the first thing is one does not make any kind of choice when one is uh, getting into the practice of meditation. Now I'm going to use simple words because otherwise I will not be able to even talk anything. So one does not make a choice. Now, what do I mean is one does not say, "Oh, I'm going to stop my thinking." No, one does not say, "Oh, I want a certain experience, and then that will be meditation." No, one does not get into the practice of meditation with the hope that in the future I will become a better meditator, or I'll gain enlightenment, or I will gain. No. One does not meditate with the intent that, I need to focus and enhance my concentration. No. So the real word is one is just, okay, let's start with the sitting one. Let's assume that when you're meditating, you're just sitting and you're just being choiceless, which means there is no movement of the mind into some kind of a projection. Oh, I want this, I don't want this is meditation, this is what I should do. Nothing. There is no doing in the meditation. One is simply sitting and noticing what is happening. Now, what could be happening when you're just sitting? Let's say, assuming your eyes are closed, your eyes can be open, your eyes can be half open. It doesn't really matter, because at any given point of time, if there is consciousness, something is happening. Life is happening. So one does not need to create any kind of special experience, because to be alive means to constantly experience life through the five senses, through the body sensations, through the feelings and emotions, through the thoughts. So one doesn't really have to create anything, because life is happening by itself. All one needs to do is notice what is already happening. Let's say you're just sitting, and you're not really sitting with any intention, with any goal, and you're just noticing what is happening. Wherever the attention is going, it could go to the breath, and you notice the breath. Maybe the attention then goes to some kind of a sound happening. Then notice the sound. That's also an expression of life happening, existence happening through a sound. After some time, the attention goes to within the body, some sensations are happening. So wherever the attention is, you just notice. But essentially, the key thing is you are noticing whatever is happening in the present moment, what's happening in the now, because life is expressing itself only in the now. Whereas it's the mind which is experiencing itself in the form of a story. It's something has happened in the past and something is going to happen in the future. And then I am somebody who is dealing with the life situation. And this is the pattern of the mind. It is linear, whereas life is here in this moment. So you are, when you are sitting still, perhaps you're with the idea, with the intent that I just want to notice what's happening. Breath, sounds, it could be sight, smell, touch, sensation, feeling, thoughts, whatever. Essentially, like, if you really look at life, can express itself only in 8 ways. The five sensations, the sixth is the breath, the seventh is the sensations in the body, and the eighth are the thoughts. There is no ninth way in which life can express itself. These are the 8 ways in which. So when you notice any of these 8 things in the moment, one could say then that's meditation. So now comes the question that should one, is meditation means, do we have to um sit quietly, like, when we see meditation, either someone is having this mudra, and then spine extremely erect, and then then that. So is that meditation, or can be done anytime? So that's a good question to ask. So now, so I hope by now at least you know what is not meditation. Looking for an experience or trying to do something, that's not meditation. A simple way of saying is, meditation is not trying to do something or experience something. Meditation is just noticing what is happening. Simple. No, I can't make it simpler than this. It's just simply noticing what is happening. And you don't have, you, what do I say? you don't have to note, you don't have to create what is happening, neither do you have to make it special what is happening, because and when if you're alive, if you're conscious, there is always something happening. There is never a time something is not happening. At some point of wherever you are, some sound must be happening. It may be a pleasant sound, it may be the sound of a bird chirping, or it may be the sound of traffic. Doesn't matter. Something is happening, no. And wherever you are, breathing is happening. Wherever you are, sensations are happening. So it is simply noticing what is happening. Don't try to make something happen, because life is already making whatever has to happen, is life is making it happen. So it's simply noticing what is happening by itself. It is not trying to create something, it's simply noticing what is happening. So I hope by now it's clear what meditation is not, which is it's not trying to do something or experience something. It's simply noticing what is happening by itself. Now we come to the part about the practice of meditation. Now, how should one practice meditation? Now, generally, people feel that, for practicing meditation, one needs to sit quietly and then just be, and then, something like that. Now, and that's the one of the reasons that this whole thing has come, that I need to practice meditation. I need to do. It's like meditation has now become like an activity to be done, which means, so I need to do my cooking, I need I need to do my bath, I have my breakfast, and I need to do my meditation. So our lingo, our language is also becomes self-defeating, whereas meditation is not something that is done. Meditation is just noticing what is happening. It's not something that one does. But when we use our language, then it becomes, oh, I need to do my meditation. I have not done my meditation for today. I have to sit for half an hour today, 1 hour today, and I have to do my meditation. So our language is such that it will say, oh, I need to do. But really speaking, meditation is not something one does. It is simply the act of noticing what is happening in the moment. So now, having said that, there are two approaches of looking at meditation, the practice of meditation. The first approach is where one sits and just notices what's happening, which means you take some time out, sit for some time. You can close your eyes if you wish, and just notice what's happening. And like I said, every moment something or the other is happening. Breath is happening, sensation. So wherever the attention is going, you just notice, okay, some sound is happening, okay, some sensation is happening, some breath is happening. It's almost like you are not noticing it. All of this is happening in emptiness. It's just in emptiness, all of this is happening. Sounds happening, sensation happening, breath happening. It's just noticing. And when you're sitting, it is easier to notice. That's the point I want to make. Okay, so it is not something that you are doing the practice of meditation. It is simply that when you're sitting, then the then the process of noticing becomes easier. Hence, then you can say, okay, I have this meditation practice from 7 to 8, and I do that. But it's not like something that one does. One does not do meditation. One can take some time out from your daily schedule to just simply sit and notice what is happening. And then you can say, okay, that is the meditation practice. But one does not do meditation, one simply sits and notices. Because when you're in the midst of doing something, you're talking to someone, you're in the midst of doing some work, when you're in the midst of maybe watching something, reading, then it's not your mind is engaged and occupied with something or the other, some conversation. So it's not easy. It's not impossible, but it's not easy to notice what is happening because your mind is engaged, your attention is engaged with something. So when you're just simply sitting, then it's easier to notice what's happening. Now, what's going to happen most of the time when you sit to just notice what's happening is that, okay, you say that, okay, I'm just now going to notice wherever you are. Maybe you're sitting in the club, or you're sitting in your balcony. Maybe you're sitting in a park bench, wherever it may be. Now, what? Nothing. Sitting and noticing. Okay. Noticing the breeze touching your skin, feeling of cool air. Okay. The warmth of the sun on your skin. Maybe the birds are chirping, maybe the noise of traffic. Whatever is happening, just noticing it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Now, what's going to happen when you start noticing? I don't know. You may notice for maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or whatever. And then your attention will go back into your mind and your story of the mind. Your thoughts will take away the noticing, and it will make you a character in the story of your mind. And then you will start, oh, I have this happened to me, and I have to, like, I have to doctor's appointment, and I have to do this. Oh, I have to arrange for my workshop. Oh, I have to worry about this and that. So then you will get into your to-do list and your life situation, and then you will become the character, the person, with this story and all. And the noticing has gone now. Because then your thoughts came. It says, forget about this noticing and all. This is not. This is absolutely useless. Come, let's think about something. So then the attention will go with the thoughts, and now you are in your la la land thinking about, oh, this happened. Oh, I have to take care of this. Oh, I have to, this. So even that small time that you allot for noticing, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, I don't know. It could even be 5 minutes. Even that much time, you are not able to just notice what's happening, because your attention goes into your thoughts, and then it gets into storytelling and thinking about the past, thinking about the future, and then anxiety about the future, and then self judgments about, how good how, you know, good I am, not good I am, whatever, I mean, I think we all know best how our mind works, and all kinds of thoughts and stories that it generates. So that's what will happen when you sit for noticing. Your mind will come after some time, and then you'll just go into your la 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 la, and then you'll like, oh, I forgot, I was supposed to be. And you may be sitting with your eyes closed, and I was supposed to be noticing, and now I'm just thinking, now what's going to happen. So when that point comes, when the realization comes that, oh, I need to notice and I've forgotten that. Now, don't get angry with the mind. Don't judge yourself. Oh, I can't even notice this much. No, nothing like that. Whenever that point comes, the switch comes, the realization comes, oh, I'm daydreaming. I'm lost in my thoughts. And I have allotted this 15, 20, 30 minutes for noticing, and come back into noticing. That's all. So again, you bring your, I wouldn't say you bring your attention. Whenever the realization happens that my mind is lost in thoughts, come back into noticing. Again, go back to noticing what's happening. Notice the breath, notice the sensation. Whatever is happening, just notice it. Like I mentioned, 8 elements of life that can be noticed. Your 5 sensations, the body sensations, the breath, and also your thoughts. So you could also notice your thoughts. Let's say that there are lots of thoughts that are happening. Then you say, okay, now let me just notice my thoughts, because now today there are too many thoughts. So let me just notice my thoughts. But one of the fun facts is that once you start noticing your thoughts disappear. So either there can be thoughts, or either there can be noticing. They can't they can't be both. Either there can be darkness, either there can be light. They cannot be both. Mm. So noticing is makes the thoughts disappear. But if there are too many thoughts, then you can even notice your thoughts. Mm. So it's simply the act of noticing what is happening right now. Even this noticing happens by itself. It's not like you choose that I will notice. Yes, At the initial stage, you can say that, yes, I need to bring some time and notice. But eventually, you'll realize even this process of noticing is happening by itself. There's no person who is choosing to be aware. Awareness is happening by itself. It's just like life is happening by itself. I am not choosing to be alive. Life is happening by itself. Mm. So we can get into that at a later stage. But at this point, I think it's just important to realize, because the topic for today is what is meditation? Meditation is simply the act of noticing what is happening in the moment. Now, is it that you can only notice what's happening in the moment only if you sit for, like, let's say 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you notice? Yes, it is easier to notice what's happening in the moment if you're sitting quietly and if you're not distracted by doing something or watching a movie or talking to someone else, because then your focus is only on noticing what's happening in the moment. But this noticing can happen anytime. It can happen when when you wake up in the morning, and when you till the time you go to sleep. So as soon as you wake up, something is happening. So as soon as you wake up, maybe the first thing you need to do is don't get out of bed. Just stay in bed and notice what's happening, maybe for 5 minutes. Maybe you can place your hand on your chest or on your abdomen and just breathe and just notice what's happening. Just be. When you get out of bed, you go to the washroom, continue your noticing. Don't lose touch with the noticing what's happening. Maybe you come out, you warm a glass of, you heat some water to have water in the morning. Keep noticing what's happening, the sound of the heating, the the warmth of the water. When you take the sip of the water, notice what's happening. This, then life becomes, you don't need to then practice meditation, then life becomes meditative. And that is eventually how it, mm, ideally one must look at meditation, not as something that I do for like 20 minutes a day and then I've done my practice of meditation. Yes, that's a good thing if you can focus and just you have a certain time only for noticing what's happening, because it's easier to notice when you have that allotted time to notice what's happening. But the noticing should happen from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep, because something is happening, life is happening all the time, from the time you wake up till the time you close your eyes. So that process of noticing must happen all the time, as much as you can. So what can enable you to notice more is remembering. So basically, if I were to tell you what is the key thing that helps in the practice of meditation, is remembering to notice, remembering to be aware, because we forget. uh, so you have to remember to be aware. Now, the way you can remember is maybe set some alarms during the day. So, okay, every 1 hour, stop, just notice what's happening. Maybe every 2 hours, stop, just notice what's happening for a minute or two. The most potent reminder for noticing what's happening is to attend classes or sessions or watch sessions like these. Because all sessions which are talking about awareness, mindfulness, presence are constant reminders to the mind that, hey, the most important thing in life is to notice what's happening. Because that will make us realize that there is no person who is doing something, life is happening by itself. That will break this chain of endless mental chatter and identification with the mind and the character of the mind. So the more you listen to such talks, or the more you read books associated with this wisdom, greater the remembrance. That's why they use the word satsang, be in the company of truth, or be in the company of people who are who have realized that they are not characters in the mind, but that life is happening by itself. Mm. Because the more you hang around with these people, the more the remembrance is going to happen. The more you lose touch with this wisdom, then the more your mind goes into its la la land and its thoughts and its stories and whatever. Simply noticing what is happening right now. And the practice of meditation can happen anytime from the time you wake up, because from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep, something or the other is always happening. But when we allot a certain time of like sitting and just using that time in a dedicated manner to notice what's happening, then we generally call that as the practice of meditation. But that is not what meditation is, that it's allotted only to those 20 minutes, because noticing what happening can happen anytime. You're just sitting, just listening to the, you could be traveling by car, just listening to the traffic noise. Now, that's also noticing of what is happening. Maybe you're sitting for a doctor's appointment, watching the breath. That's noticing of what's happening. So you don't have to make it so grand and special. Whenever opportunity comes, even for a short moment, if you notice what's happening, then you have practiced. Okay. So on that note, let's end the session with a small meditation practice, which I generally call a sitting practice. And then we will end the session. So sit comfortably. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is that sometimes when we are beginning, it's good to have a guided meditation, which means you could listen to somebody who's guiding you through the meditation. Maybe somebody says, okay, watch your breath, and then you bring your attention to your breath. Watch the sensations of the body, and then you bring the attention to sensation. Notice what's happening in and out. So sometimes when someone is guiding you, at least at the beginning stage, it is good to have this guided meditation practice. Maybe after some time, you don't need that, then the noticing becomes so strong in itself that you don't necessarily need a guided meditation. Okay, so let's start with a small sitting practice. So sit comfortably, close your eyes, uh, keep your palms wherever you feel comfortable. And it's good if you can keep your body stationary for some time, because it helps to notice what's happening when your body is stationary, and also sometimes when your eyes are closed, because the distraction is lesser. It's not that you cannot notice otherwise, but it's just a little easier. Now just notice what's happening. Wherever the attention goes, just take note of that. Could be the breath, the body sensations, the sounds. Whatever is happening right now is happening by itself. Just take note of it. Whatever is happening right now is life expressing itself. Just take note of it. There's no trying to to do something, become someone, stop something, want something, control something. Nothing. Just simply noticing what's happening without any choice, simply because it's already happening. So there's nothing to do. Just notice. Don't look for some special experience, some goal, some outcome, some result of this practice. Nothing. Practice is the end in itself. Simply noticing. Noticing is both the means and the goal in itself. Noticing is both the journey and destination. Noticing is both the starting point and the end point in itself. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just notice. Whatever is happening, simply notice. Breath, sensations, sounds, thoughts. Just notice. The attention gets lost in thoughts. Whenever the attention comes back to the present moment, just resume the noticing. There's no self judgment, there's no self evaluation, there's no comparison. Just notice. Whatever is happening by itself. No one is doing it. Even the act of noticing is also happening by itself. No one is doing it. Everything that is noticed by life, of life. There is only this existence, whatever form it may take in the moment. Just noticing. Meditation is simply the act of noticing what's happening in the moment. One can do this at any point of time, from the time we wake up to the time we close our eyes for sleep. We can also take some time out to do this specifically, dedicatedly. Whenever we notice what's happening, we shift our attention from unconscious identification with thoughts, the character, the story, to simply being with life itself. Let's end the session with a small spontaneous prayer. My dear higher self, help me to notice what's happening in the moment as often as I can. Help me to remember to be aware as often as I can. Help me to integrate the practice of meditation in my daily activities. Help me to have a disciplined practice also of simply sitting and noticing what's happening. Help me to be receptive to this wisdom, to be connected to this wisdom of self-awareness and self-realization. Seek your grace and guidance to realize my true self. Om Shanti. Okay. Gently rub your palms and cup your eyes. Okay. So with that, we end today's session. I hope it was useful to realize what meditation is not, what meditation is, and how one can practice it throughout the day and also in a dedicated manner through a specific, I'll allocating a time to do that. So with that, we end this session. I'll see you in the next session. Goodbye. God bless. Take care.